We have to remember that only until recently, women didn't even go to university. They stayed at home and they became mothers. So the phenomenon of women having university education is a recent phenomenon. The phenomenon of women going into business school is also quite a recent phenomenon. And I think that 30% is quite remarkable, quite frankly. And I think that the 30% has only been in the last probably 15 years. You know, if we look at the numbers 15 years ago, we will probably find that they didn't exist. And I think if we project forward into the future, perhaps in another 5 to 10 years, it will be 50-50. It's important to encourage that women pioneer and venture into areas, you know, that are uncharted waters. Because when that happens, it gives permission to other women to follow in that path, and it just suddenly makes it normal, you know, when previously it wasn't normal. And therefore it's important that we should encourage those of us who are daring enough to be different and to be crazy, to pioneer these new areas of participation for women. What we don't do well as women is to share our experiences and to talk with each other. You know, the more successful we become quite isolated. And I think we need to consciously be mindful of the role that is expected of us when we rise into leadership positions, to share our challenges and our experiences with other women, to be accessible, to be available. So we really must find mentors for ourselves. We must seek people who inspire us so that we can continue to grow our confidence in the roles that we are either thrust upon or in the roles that we evolve to assume in our various responsibilities. We find ourselves at a time in the world where values, ethics, and morals seem to have less significance. And I think we all have a responsibility to really go back to the basics, to accept and to understand that values exist for a reason, morals exist for reasons, ethics exist for a reason. So that would be the first message. The second message would be to remind each one of us that sometimes we think our contribution needs to be huge, and it doesn't really need to be. We can just find the one thing that we can do that can change a life, and that will be enough. The third message I would leave with young people is the importance of education. You know, so whatever that one thing is, if there was only one contribution that we are able to make, I would encourage that contribution be in education, that we contribute towards the education of someone who is less fortunate, who is not able to access education. Because if we become an educated society, it changes so many things. It makes us different people for the simple reason that we can contribute, and that we are able to maintain a sense of dignity about our humanity.